Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa Miller. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Southern California, and today I thought we would make a card using the Friendly Gnomes stamp set. And I am actually turning this into a Valentine's Day card with the little hearts on it. Now, in our Friendly Gnomes stamp set, it's really cute. I have never really been a big gnome fan. I always thought they were a little creepy. But then I saw this little guy here with the flowers in his beard and his little eye peeking out under his hat, and I just fell in love with that. So I had to get this stamp set. I'm not one to usually do a lot of cutesy cards, but I do like these gnomes. And you can also purchase the gnome dies, and the dies will cut out each of your little gnomes here. Or it also has additional pieces that you can use to cut out and make a paper gnome. Just like that. We're not using the dies today. Maybe we'll do that in a future video. And then just a little reminder, we've got celebration going on. For every $50 or $100 that you spend in either our new mini catalog or our annual catalog, you can choose a free item out of this brochure. So I've got my card panel here. We're going to go ahead and start with that. So we'll go ahead and we will bring in our Stamparatus. I always use my Stamparatus for lining things up. And we're doing a scene builder card today. So I just wanted to make sure that I had everything lined up in there nice. So I've got my panel. I'm going to make sure that magnet holds that down in case we need to stamp again. I've got my Memento Tuxedo Black because we are using our alcohol markers, our blends, and we're just going to ink these up really well and then give some pressure. I've got to move that magnet out a little bit. There we go. And even pressure. We don't want to give CPR to our stamping platform because if you press too hard, it can make your lines on your stamped image appear thick. And sometimes you don't want really thick lines on your images. So we will just go ahead and stamp that. Now, what I did prep ahead of time, because we are doing a scene builder scene, I did go ahead and I stamped my images on my Ivory removable stickers. Now, Stampin' Up! Does have masking paper, but I still have a whole package of my removable stickers, so I am using those up before I purchase Stampin' Up! Masking paper. I don't want to spend money that I don't need to at this point because crafty supplies are expensive, and of course you want to get the most for your money. So I'm going to use up what I have first, but I've got my images here stamped. We're going to mask them. I cut these out on masking paper and then just fussy cut them. So we're going to mask these off. If I can get the backing off here, there we go. We're just going to mask these off here, and then just like that. Let me wipe these off with some Stampin' Mist. And these are very easy to line up. You know, I just have it prepped for the video just so the video goes a little smoother. And my Stamparatus, I love my Stamparatus because we can just flip it over and use our other stamp. So I have everything lined up and all ready. And my mushroom, whatever you want in the forefront is what you stamp first. So I want my mushroom more in the background. So I will stamp that second after I have masked my first images. So let's go ahead and stamp that. And you can see where that mushroom, it covers up part of their bodies here, but now it will be in the background. Oops. And a little more pressure than that. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Ink it up one more time so we get a good image there. Just like that. Perfect. So now we can wipe this off. I think I need a little more Stampin' Mist on there. We can wipe this off and get that put away. So now I also did a mask for my mushroom, and I am going to mask that because we are going to add sky and ground. So we need to get this also masked. Just like that. And I'm not too worried about the little flowers there. I just mostly want to make sure that my mushroom and my gnomes are masked. So now let's bring in our basic borders. And what I did here was I just took the cloud image from my basic borders and I cut that out of a piece of regular cardstock. And we're going to use that to color in our sky. So what I've got here, just put a little piece of scrapped paper behind here, is I've got my Balmy Blue and my soft sea foam for my ground because I want it to be like grass. But we're just going to take our Balmy Blue. Everything is masked here. Just make sure they're on there good. And then we can take our clouds and kind of start where the ground would be, I would say. And Stampin' Up! Now has mini brushes. You get 3 in a pack. The regular size is this larger one, and then we have mini. So we're going to use the little mini one here for our clouds, and we don't want them too dark. I'm going to tap that off, and I'm just going to lightly, ever so lightly, just get some sky in there. And then we can move this. I think I want a little bit more down here on that side. And then we can move this. Oops, I didn't hold that down. And then we can move it up. So we'll just go up a little bit and add some more sky. I think I might have got that a little bit dark, but that's okay. We'll go easy on the rest of it. Let's go like that. Yeah, I think that's good. Just ever so lightly. I had quite a bit of ink on this apparently. There we go. And then just flip that over and you can do a whole new set of clouds. Just nice and gently. There we go. And we're actually going to trim this out. I always trim out my panels after I've got it ready. So we will trim this out. I may not need this layer of clouds, but we will put it there anyways. Perfect. And then, you know what? I don't even need to put ink on my green one because I still have quite a bit. So I'm not going to worry about my stepping stones here. I'm just going to add a little bit of green to the bottom there to mimic grass. And I think that's pretty good. So now we've got our grass and our sky there, and we can go ahead and put these away. Oh, and I forgot. I was supposed to say this first off. Okay, today is January 15th. The winner of my Always in Your Heart video is Vicky Ford. Vicky, please send me a private email to handmadehugsbymelissa@gmail.com and I will get that stamp and die set out to you. So please, private email with your address and I will get it to you. Okay, so back to this. Now we can go ahead and peel off our masks. And they come off really easily. And then we can color our images. So for my mask, I want to save this in case I ever want to use a mask again for this stamp set. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this up and save it inside my case with the appropriate image. That way we don't have to cut another one. You can reuse them several times. So we've got that one off of there. Where does he go? Right here. This is the guy with the heart. And then we also have the mask for our mushroom, our little mushroom house. And I just save them just like that. And they're good, already done for next time. So now we can color. I have a whole bunch of colors that I used on this card. I will have everything I used linked in the description below. So let's go ahead and bring in some of our pens. I'm not going to bore you with all of the coloring, but I do want to point one thing out. I used, it's not the conventional skin tone color. I used my light Petal Pink for the nose and their hands and the face on the girl. And I just thought that it was a really cute light color. It's not real pink. It's actually a very fleshy color. So that's the color. It's not conventional, but I used the light Petal Pink. Let's go ahead and let's do our mushroom. So for my mushroom, I am using Ivory. So let's get started. And like I said, I was never really a gnome fan. I thought they were a little creepy because you could never see their eyes. But these little images here, you can see their eyes and they're really cute. I like the eyes and all the little flowers in this set. And you know what? I had a gnome and I didn't even know it. I had a friend that came over for Christmas. We had dinner and just to hang out and catch up and talk a little bit. And she was looking at my tree and she's all, oh, you have a gnome on there. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't. I thought it was just a Santa with a great big beard. And I didn't even realize that it was a gnome. So after she left, you know, I didn't say anything because I was in the kitchen cooking, but I did hear her. And so after she left, I went and looked at it and you know what? I had a gnome and didn't even know it. It was a Santa gnome, but I didn't even know I had him. I didn't. So then I'm just going to color. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to put gnomes all over my house, but they're growing on me. They're not as creepy as they used to be. So I think I will just go ahead and color and fast forward just a bit. It does go quickly, but I don't think I want to bore you with having you watch me color this whole image. Okay, so as I was coloring here, I didn't do his beard because I wanted to show you how I did his beard. I'm using light granite gray or light gray granite, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to accent the little lines that the stamp created just to give it a little bit of highlights in there, and that way you can see that his beard is gray. And it does get lighter as as it dries. It's alcohol, so it does get lighter. So that's all I did for his beard. And while I was coloring, I realized I forgot to stamp some additional little leaves around their feet. I want more greenery on there. So let's bring our masks back in, and you can see how easy it is. We're just going to put the masks back on our little gnomes here, just like that, because I want to add some greenery. So we'll get those back on there. See, it happens. You forget things, or you don't, or something doesn't come out how you want it and you want to add something else. It happens all the time. All right, so they are masked up. You know what? We better do our mushroom also, just in case. And I accidentally ripped that, but that's okay. It will still cover perfectly because we're only using the bottom. So I'm going to bring in my little leaf image here. I've already got it on a block because I want to add more greenery down there by their feet. So we're bringing back in our Memento, and I am going to put one over here, another one over here, and then what did I do on the sample? We've got two more over by this guy, one right there, and one right there. It just adds to the scene. Okay, so now we can take these off. And put them back in our case. There we go. And our mushroom. So now we can bring our green back in, and I used two different greens. I first used my light granny apple green and then my dark granny apple green, and I will have all colors listed in the description, so you won't miss out on anything. There we go. And see, these leaves are just going over the area that we already colored green, so it's okay with our ink blending. And then just some little accents with our darker green, so it looks shaded a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so I had a lot of different colors out here, so let me get all of these pushed aside. Now we want to stamp our sentiment on there. So I've got my Stamparatus, and I did already line it up, and you can do multiples of this card really easily. So let's get all that pushed in there. Put our panel in there, and I'm going to bring in my sentiment. And what I did here was, before I put it on the Stamparatus, I just lined it up here where it would set nice, and then I picked it up. But we're going to just use Memento. I used my cherry cobbler ink on here, and I touched it before it was dry, and it did smear just a little bit. So I think we will just go ahead and use our Memento. And use your Stamparatus. That way, if you need to, you can ink it up and stamp it again. Just like that. Perfect. Now we've got our sentiment on there. Let's clean that off and let's continue. So after I've got my image all colored and ready to go, I brought in my Fabulous Frames die. Let me see if I can get some of that ink off of my finger for you. I always have ink on my fingers, it seems like. And I went ahead and I took the main frame die out of here and I cut out 3 out of my white cardstock and I just stacked those like we usually do. I was going for a card that will mail easily. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this and I can see where I want to cut and what I want to trim off. I don't want to trim off too much, but I am going to trim off some. So let's just kind of eyeball it. We're going to take a little bit off over here. You know, I always do this. I just find it easier to do my final trimming after my panel is complete. Oh, I think that's perfect. That is centered on there just perfect. So we can go ahead. I've got my card base here, and we are also going to stamp on our envelope. I've got my card base. Let's go ahead and attach our frame. Oh, and I wanted to show you, you know, I was using the little ink bottles from Michaels, the fine-tipped ink bottles, and I felt like I was running out super quick. So I looked on Amazon and I found larger bottles with the fine tip, and I think I got 10 in a pack for almost the same price as 3 or 4. I think it might have been 4 at Michael's. So that was a really nice find. And a whole Tombow fit in there. And I still have room for more. So that will last a lot longer. So let's attach our frame. This is the first time using it. Let's see if we get a nice, oh yeah, that's nice. Just like the other bottles. We get a nice little stream of glue on there. Perfect. Then we can attach this just like that. And we can adjust it. I think that is perfect. I was going for a card that will mail easily. Just give it a little pressure all the way around. Then we can attach that to our card base, which is standard A2, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Get rid of my pieces there. And just center that on our card panel or our card base, just like that. Then we can look at it and move it around if we need to. I think that looks pretty good. Just like that. And then because I was going for a card that would be easy to mail, I had a whole bunch of little hearts left over from my owl, our adorable owl video. So I thought I would just pop those on there. That way it will mail nicely. And we're just going to Put a few of those on there. And the hearts were cut out of cherry cobbler from our Adorable Owls video. I had extras. And don't forget, Vicky Ford, you are the winner of my Always in Your Heart set. Please send me a private email to handmadehugsbymelissa@gmail.com and I will get that in the mail to you. So let's add our hearts. We don't need a lot of glue, just a little bit. I definitely like the gnomes a lot more than I used to. They are kind of cute. There we go. That one doesn't want to come up. There we go. And this will mail nicely. You won't need extra postage on it or anything. And speaking of postage, postage is going up January 22nd. If you send out as many cards as I do, you may want to go to the post office and pick up a couple extra packs of stamps because they are going up. Okay. So there we go. Isn't that cute? That is super cute. I just love that. And it's perfect for Valentine's Day. So let's go ahead and we will stamp our envelope real quick. I already have the flower image here on a block. And I am going to just ink that up. And we'll just stamp that in the corner of our envelope. With our Memento, we will do basic coloring, nothing too fancy. But I do want to remind you that we are coloring with our alcohol markers. So you want to put a piece of paper in there between the envelope. Otherwise, it'll leak through to the back, and we don't want that. So let's go ahead and just color real quick. I've got my yellows and my greens. And we will just add some color to these. And there we go. We have a matching envelope for our gnome card. And then, of course, you know, I had to make a card with the little guy that has the flowers in his beard. I just thought that was so cute. So I did this one off camera. And same thing, I did all my masking so I could add my clouds. I also masked my balloons. So first I stamped my orange and my yellow balloon, and then I masked them. And then I stamped my blue balloon because I knew I wanted it to be in the background. And the same thing with the green one because I wanted my yellow and my orange to be in the forefront, so I masked them and they came out so cute. Then for my embellishments on this one, I just added some of our new Enamel Dot Essentials, and I thought it was perfect because that is like a crumb cake color and it matches my little browns over here in my mushroom and my squirrel. So those are my cards for today. Please let me know what you thought. I appreciate you spending time with me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.